Hey, what's going on today, guys? It's Stix10 here, and today we are going to take a look at Froslass in the Kingdom Cup of Pokemon Go for the Silph Arena. The reason I want to look at this is it is super effective against several things in the meta, and it does do quite a bit of damage with since it is Ghost type and has Shadow Ball. So right now I'm running mine Powder Snow, Shadow Ball, and Avalanche. Avalanche charges super fast with Powder Snow, and so that's why I'm running it that way. And it is super effective, double super effective actually, against Flygon and Altaria, and has quite a few good matchups in this cup. Let's look at type effectiveness real quick, and this is as a defender via this is Pokegenie. So you can see it's obviously going to have a 1x weakness to Dark, Fire, Ghost, Rock, and Steel, and then it has a double resistance to normal type moves because of the Ghost typing, and then it has a one resistance to Bug, Fighting, Ice, Poison. So I think Fighting is one of those that's interesting there to know about, because obviously Blaziken and Lucario are both going to be running Fighting type moves. So actually I think Froslass can actually beat Blaziken because it's not going to be running any Fire type moves. So it's something interesting. If you watched my video before about Blaziken, we didn't run up against a Froslass, so that's something just interesting at least to know about that matchup. And then it's neutral to all the other ones there. So let's take a look now at PvPoke. And of course we ran a custom sim that they have set up with all of these as in the meta that they have set up. So what we've got here is 0 shields across the board. So we get 12 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, which is fairly positive. So we have Altaria, Blaziken, Alolan Dugtrio, Flygon, Monferno, Alolan Marowak, which I think a lot of people are going to be running. Lucario is a positive matchup. Infernape, Metagross, which I don't see a lot of people running. Dragonair. Charizard is still positive, even though it has a Fire Fast move, because our Ice moves are actually neutral to it, and we can hit it pretty hard and fairly quickly. So something interesting there. Steelix, of course, our Ice type moves are neutral to it as well. Froslass. I think on Steelix we would have to watch out for the Dark type moves on it. Obviously Crunch. So then Froslass is neutral. And then you can see we're losing to Kingdra, Melmetal, because of Rock Slide, Torkoal, Lapras, and Bastiodon, obviously. So let's change this though to 1 shield, and see how that changes things, see if it's still in our favor or not. So we battle again, and it looks like they're 7 wins, 8 losses, and 3 draws. So of course we are still so Kingdra, Marowak, Blaziken, Flygon, Altaria, and Monferno. And then if we just do 2 shields, for some reason you want to spend 2 shields on Froslass, and they decide to spend 2 on theirs. Froslass is 5 wins, 12 losses. So Flygon we still win against, Altaria, Monferno, Blaziken, Dugtrio. So you can see there's a lot of fairly close matches still, but then we are losing quite a few of these big time now with that many shields. And now we'll jump into some battles against Zionic, where we use Froslass. Alright, so these first few matches I'm going to be running Froslass without without Avalanche. I hadn't unlocked the second move yet, so the first 3 matches are that way. You can see, obviously, we had a positive matchup there with Flygon, and he switched out. So we stayed in because I just wanted to see how much damage it would do to Charizard. We do switch out there to Altaria. As you can see, Altaria is just putting in some work there on Charizard. Dragon Claw, we can tank 1 Dragon Claw with Altaria and then hit back with their Sky Attack. He did block that, so now we do have to block that as our last shield. So I believe it's 0-0 shields now. He is down, so now we're just putting in bonus damage here on Lapras and bringing in Lucario to finish off the Lapras. Hopefully he gets a Surf off, or no, an Ice Beam. And then here's our Power Up Punch, which is going to do super effective damage and give us the boost. Now we're going up against Flygon. He already had a Dragon Claw ready, so we are down for the count. And here we go, going down to Shadow Ball. If I would have had Avalanche, it would have ended a little sooner, but there you go. We did win the first match there, and let's get into the next one. So we've got Froslass and Melmetal. This is a negative matchup for me, depending on shield usage, but we're not doing much damage to him, and then his Rock Slide is going to do super effective damage against us. You can see we get off a Shadow Ball, and my phone freaks out again, and he didn't block it, so we actually do quite a bit of damage there to his Melmetal. So he switches out now. He has a charge move saved up, so we have to watch for that. He's going to block this because he knows it's a Shadow Ball. That would do super effective damage. We might be able to get off a second one before he does. It looks like we won't, though, so my Froslass does go down to his Shadow Ball. He must be running Hex on his. And then we bring out Steelix and hit the Crunch here. And that does, he blocks that. And he's going to do Bone Club. Actually, he does Shadow Ball. That was kind of surprising. Maybe he doesn't have Bone Club on his. So there we go. Super effective damage. Knocked him out with the Earthquake there. And then Altaria. Positive matchup for us, but our HP is so low at this point that we're just going to have to get off these crunches and do as much damage as we can as quickly as possible. So our last one is Lucario. Not a positive matchup here, but since there are no shields, we could actually go all the way if he wasn't able to get off that last move. If we could get to Shadow Ball, we could have won that, but we just didn't have enough time. So something important to know is Shadow Ball is important on Lucario as well. So here's a matchup. We've got Froslass versus Blaziken. Should be a positive matchup for us, but I do switch out not knowing that to start with, and he switches. We've kind of switched now. Charizard has a more positive matchup, I feel, against Blaziken. And he doesn't block that Blast Burn with his Lapras, and you can see how much Blast Burn actually does to Lapras. So there's a block, and then he will go down to a Dragon Claw. He may block it, actually. Nope, he does not. He allows it to faint. Save the shields for later. And get a little bit of lag here. And he gets off a charge move. A Brave Bird. So we bring out our Lucario. So that was a mistake there. I probably should have just brought out Froslass and went up against the Blaziken. So there we block his Brave Bird. And he's going to go down to fast moves. And we have a Dragon or a Shadow Ball left. Once again, it's against Flygon. Here, of course, a Avalanche would be better, but we just have Shadow Ball. It does actually do quite a bit of damage, though. You can see as a neutral hit, it does quite a bit. So we win that match. And the next one, here we go against Charizard. And we're going to switch out because Charizard does actually do quite a bit. Altaria is a better matchup. He does have Dragon Claw, so that does hurt us quite a bit. But as long as we block, we can take one. As long as we block the next one, we should win that matchup. But he, of course, had the switch advantage, so he brings out Lapras. We do about half damage to Lapras before feigning and bring out our Lucario, block the first Surf, and then get off our... Oh, and he gets off another Surf, it looks like. Did have quite a bit of energy saved up, so... And we hit a power-up punch here on Blaziken. He blocks it. That's going to do quite a bit, but you can see Blaziken is just super effective against Lucario, since Lucario actually has a fighting weakness. So there we hit Shadow Ball, block this move here to save our Froslass. Brave Bird wouldn't do, it would do a little bit to it, but better to shield that, I think, and hit the Shadow Ball, and then Charizard, and we are down for the count. Definitely there, having Avalanche would have helped us quite a bit. So here we go, next matches, and now we have both charge moves unlocked. We switched to Melmetal just because of Rock Slide. Just wanted to see how much we could do. Obviously, I have to block any of his charge moves. So, but we are getting Rock Slide off fairly quickly. You can see even Fire Spin's doing quite a bit to our Melmetal, and we're going to let him go down now at this point. We did quite a bit, and we got both of his shields, so we're actually in a very good position. And Avalanche here is going to do a ton of work. You can see taking it down the 40% of its HP it had left. And we're going to hit Shadow Ball, and you can see that knocked out Blaziken right away. And this is just bonus damage then. We're getting off an Avalanche just because it's not going to be super effective, but we needed to get some extra damage there since we're 1v1 here. So we do block the first Surf, it looks like, and get to that power-up punch. And let's see if we... So there's our power-up punch, super effective, and we do win that match with Lucario. Froslass did a lot of work there, obviously, against Charizard and the other Mon he brought out. And here we go. So we start off with Kingdra. Obviously, the Water Gun is doing a ton of work against his Charizard, so he swaps out to Lapras, which obviously are... we don't have anything that's super effective against Lapras, and so there we hit it with a Hydro Pump. My phone stopped recording for some reason, so we go back in, and our Lucario beats Lapras. And we Blaziken versus Lucario, obviously not a good matchup for the Lucario, but we stay in with it. We bring out Froslass, and he switches to Charizard. We're gonna hit... he actually hits it with Dragon Claw first. We block it, and we hit our Avalanche, which is going to do neutral damage. He does block it, but we can get to another one here. Oh, and we do not. So our Froslass is going to go down. Oh, no, we get one last Avalanche off to complete. Oh, and he has his extra Blaziken, and we go down to Blaziken. So good matches there with Zionic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those battles with Zionic. I know I did. I want to thank him for letting me battle him just to show off Froslass. And I think we demonstrated fairly well that Froslass is viable in this meta, that it can put out a lot of damage, but also that it is a glass cannon. I mean, it is fragile compared to some of the other Mons in this. So if we're looking at it, what it does well, obviously, the dragon types, it's going to do really well against. Flygon and Altaria, it is double super effective against those. So definitely a positive matchup there in all situations. Also, because it is the ghost typing on it, it has a positive matchup against Blaziken and Lucario. depending on shield usage there, it can beat those. And so to me, that makes it viable in this meta. It's going to lose to a lot of other things depending on shields. We saw that early on with the PvPoke. But I think it puts out a lot of damage and has a lot of positive matchups. Now, you might be able to run a Celio or a Lapras, and that might be better for a double ice move with something else with it. For instance, Lapras with Ice Shard, Frost Breath, and Ice Beam with Surf may serve you better. It's a little bulkier, can take a lot more hits. The problem with it is it's going to be weak to your fighting types. So that's one area that Froslass does a little better. And so you may just want to test one out. Maybe you already have one built. You used it in Tempest Cup or Twilight. You had one built ready to go. Test it out. See what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are finding with it and how it fits into this meta. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, but it might be your flex pick. It might be your 5th, 6th spot. You need something to fill out your team. I think this might be a good answer that can give you a lot of support on your team. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, do all that business. Thanks again for watching the video.